All right, here we're going to use the BA2 Plus to calculate the rate or the yield on a series of mixed cash flows. All right, so what we have here is an odd little investment. You're going to spend $1,000 and get 10 and 60 and then 80, and the question is, what is the yield to maturity, or what is the rate of return, internal rate of return associated with this series of cash flows? And the internal rate of return is that rate of return that sets the NPV to zero. Well, we could do trial and error, but that would be kind of silly. Instead, what we're going to do is let the BA2 Plus do trial and error. Since this is a series of mixed cash flows, we're going to have to do this in the cash flow register. So the first thing to do is hit the CF button. And then the second thing you always do is you clear everything to make sure that there's nothing left over from some previous problem that you were working. So use the second and the clear work button. And now we're going to go ahead and enter the numbers. So the first one is 100. Change the sign, hit enter. The second one is, and then the down arrow to get to the second actually it's the first cash flow. So cash flow 0 was negative 100. The first cash flow is 10. And now we want enter. And the frequency of that is 1. And notice the enter is already pushed there. And now go down arrow. We're going to have $60 for the second cash flow. Enter. Its frequency is 1 already, and it's already entered. $80 is the cash flow for the third one. We hit enter. Let's try it again. Hit enter, and then down arrow, its frequency is 1. And then if you hit the down arrow again, it asks you if you want a fourth one. We don't want a fourth one, and so we don't want a frequency there either. And now let's page through and make sure all the numbers are correct. Negative 100, cash flow 0, 10, frequency of 1, 60, frequency of 1, and 80, frequency of 1. And make sure there's no others. Cash flow 4, we're done. So what we'd like to know is the rate of return. We want to know what rate of return you're earning if you invest $100 and then receive 10, 60, and 80. And the internal rate of return for that, we're going to hit the IRR button. And all it does is ask us to compute. The IRR is not 0. Notice that compute up there is saying you need to hit compute first. If you hit compute, it does the trial and error for you, and you get 18.12%, 18.13% is our internal rate of return for that series of cash flows.